Goodbye middle class. Half of all American workers make less than $43,222.81 a year, Michael Snyder reports. It's that time of the year again. The Social Security Administration has finally released the final wage statistics for 2023, and they're quite sobering. According to the report, last year the median wage in this country was just $43,222.81. In other words, half of all American workers made less than $43,221.81, and half of all American workers made more than $43,222.81. That's terrible news because the cost of living has been rising much faster than paychecks have. More people are being squeezed out of the middle class with each passing day. But most Americans don't even realize that this is happening because the media is not really talking about it. Poverty, homelessness, and hunger are all growing all around us, and if we stay on the path that we are on in the middle class, we'll continue to be systematically eviscerated. Once upon a time, the vast majority of the country could afford to live a middle-class lifestyle, but now those days are long gone. A study that was recently released found that it now takes more than $100,000 a year for a typical U.S. household to live the American dream in all 50 states, and in 29 U.S. states it takes more than $150,000 a year. A household would have to spend more than $150,000 a year to live the dream in 29 out of the 50 states, according to an analysis published in April by the personal finance site Go Banking Rates. According to the report, the optimal American lifestyle would cost $137,842 a year in Ohio, $147,535 in Texas, $159,932 in Florida, $194,076 in New York, and $245,723 in California. The state that has the lowest cost of living in Mississippi, living the American dream only costs $109,516 a year in that state. Needless to say, someone earning $43,222.81 a year is not going to be able to live the American dream anywhere in the nation. Even if there are two people earning that in the same household, that still is not going to get you anywhere close to living the American dream. When I was growing up, my father worked and my mother stayed home with the kids, and we were still able to live a middle-class lifestyle. But now most households cannot afford to live a middle-class lifestyle, even if both parents are working. After reading that, is there anyone out there that would like to disagree with me about the fact that we have been experiencing a long-term economic decline? What I have been warning about all these years has been slowly but steadily playing out right in front of our eyes. Not too long ago, the Wall Street Journal NORC poll found that only about 1/3 of the entire U.S. population actually believes that the American dream is still alive. Only about 1/3 of U.S. adults believe the American dream is still alive, a Wall Street Journal NORC poll published on Wednesday. The survey of 2,501 people conducted by the Public Religion Research Institute 12 years ago found that half of respondents believe the American dream still holds true, but now only 1/3 feel that way, according to the recent Wall Street Journal NORC poll of 1,502 adults. The study also found an increasingly large gap between people's economic goals and what they think is actually attainable, a trend that was consistent across gender and party lines, but was especially common amongst younger generations. Nobody out there can deny what is happening. This is our country now, and conditions are getting worse with each passing day. One of the biggest reasons why the American dream is out of reach for most of the population is because home prices have gone absolutely haywire over the last 4 years. 24% of likely voters who rent their homes said that the cost of housing is the most important economic issue they're considering, as they decide their vote, according to a CNN poll conducted by SSRS between September 19 and 22nd. That's no surprise. The U.S. is facing a once-in-a-generation housing affordability crisis. In the 4 years through August 2024, national home prices have risen 45%, according to the S&P CoreLog Case-Shiller Home Price Index. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median sales price of a home in the U.S. hit a record high this summer and now hovers just below that level. Renting used to be an affordable alternative for many people, but these days close to half of all renters in this country spend more than 30% of their income on housing. Nor has renting become any easier than buying. Near half of U.S. renters spend more than 30% of their income on housing, qualifying them as cost-burdened, according to U.S. Census data for September. In September 2024, the median rent in the U.S. was $2,050 a month. How are you supposed to be able to afford that if you're making just $43,222.81 a year? Increasingly, America is becoming divided into the haves and the have-nots. If you don't know which group you belong to, let me clue you in. If you are not making more than $100,000 a year, you're definitely among the have-nots. Unfortunately, economic conditions are rapidly getting worse, and we're seeing high-profile bankruptcies happen at a pace that we have not seen since the global financial crisis. For example, one of the largest crafting chains in the U.S. just filed for bankruptcy. Joann, the craft store chain formerly known for Joann Fabrics, has filed for bankruptcy amid ongoing financial troubles. The do-it-yourselfers, DIYs, are not worried just yet. The company's more than 800 stores nationwide will remain open, and its website will stay active as the Hudson, Ohio-based company restructures its finances. As hordes of businesses fail over the nation, our historic commercial real estate crisis just continues to intensify. If you doubt this, just check out these numbers. The delinquency rate of office mortgages backing commercial mortgage-backed securities, CMBS, spiked to 9.4% in October, up a full percentage point from September, and the highest since the worst months of the meltdown that followed the financial crisis. The delinquency rate has doubled since June 2023, 4.5%, according to the data by TREP, which tracks and analyzes CMBSs. I don't even have to tell you, many of you, what those numbers mean. We're headed for a historic meltdown, and it's going to be absolutely devastating for small to mid-sized banks from coast to coast. Meanwhile, most Americans are just barely scraping up by from month to month as our standard of living steadily deteriorates. We're in far more trouble than most people realize, and the months ahead are going to be extremely challenging. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, Why, is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophets in the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely, happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times, and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.